6 known second interview candidates for the Cleveland Browns. Today it's Jim Schwartz. It's also going to be Jesse Minter, Nate Scheelhaase, Todd Monken, Mike McDaniel, and Grant Udinsky. And as of right now, BetOnline has Grant Udinsky is the favorite to get the job, then Schwartz, then Mike McDaniel. I obviously have opinions on all of this. What I will say is I think the same thing is true of the McDermott availability as with John Harbaugh. Not to the same degree, because one dude won a Super Bowl, one dude did 18-year bid in Baltimore and had a lot of success, and the other didn't win a Super Bowl, even get to a Super Bowl with Josh Allen. But you can still run the succulent 6, the last 6 guys, or the 6 known guys to get a second-round interview, while also gauging through back channels, hey, is McDermott interested in this job? And if so, can we set up a quick, at least a quick brunch? Maybe take him out somewhere nice in Lakewood. They got a lot, Westlake, a lot of really nice brunch spots out there. Maybe Ohio City. I don't know. Just to at least see how serious of a candidate he would be. Like, I don't think it's as simple as you slam on the brakes just because McDermott's there, but you do have to figure out what you might have there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a mistake if you looked at a guy that's had that much success and didn't bring him in. I don't know necessarily. Like, probably my top candidate, I think. Like, just because of the success that you've had, because I do think that you look at Buffalo, they were relatively, like, I think that locker room was structured. I don't think that you had a ton of, like, questions on whether McDermott's a leader of men. Like, I can go back to the Keon Coleman I think he was late to a meeting, and it was 1-game suspension. Like, you instantly know you're being held accountable. Like, all of those things kind of fit. And again, you pair it with the success. I think that he instantly has to come in. But yeah, I don't think that I'm like tearing apart my entire search to be like, we got to go all the way in on McDermott, because I think you also look at the 6 guys that you have right now, and you kind of turn around and go, okay, well, there's a handful of these guys that are also being interviewed elsewhere that, like, if I fall in love with Jesse Minter, if that's the guy that I want to move forward with, there's also like 3 other teams that are legitimately serious, if not more, about Jesse Minter right now. And by the way, one of them is probably in the AFC North.
Yeah, I do think you're going to run into some complications here, where the first time I saw McDermott got fired, I thought Baltimore. I just thought a respected guy, kind of, again, off that Andy Reid tree that John Harbaugh was of. I think this is a guy known for developing defensive talent, which was kind of one of the bugaboos under Harbaugh. I still think Pittsburgh's going to do what they've always done, which is defensive head coach, first-time head coach. It just feels like they feel like they have the beat on their formula, and I would be surprised if they deviated off it. But if they were really interested in McDermott, well, McDermott's a pretty serious guy. I would imagine that's another spot that would be ahead of you with Cleveland. I think what's interesting in Cleveland is, like, Jesse Minter and Jim Schwartz do not run the same system. I can understand if Jesse Minter were to be the head coach, that's going to cost you Jim Schwartz. And I can understand that a few of these guys might cost you Jim Schwartz depending on how you hire. McDermott might be the one experienced defensive-minded head coach where Schwartz would stay, because they're both guys who coached in Philly and had a lot of success in Philly, although different timelines. And there is a through line. Jim Washburn was the longtime stud assistant coach that coached the wide 9 set. That's actually, I want to say that's where Jim Schwartz learned it from. And after he left Tennessee, he went to Philadelphia. And who did he coach with? But Sean McDermott. I think he was the D-line coach under Sean McDermott, so there probably are some tributaries there that I think might make sense, even though they coached a decade apart in Philly. And so I think that brings a really interesting idea here of, because if you could say you could get McDermott as head coach, and then maybe you get maybe Schwartz stays on as your defensive coordinator, and then it's a young, hot, sexy offensive coordinator candidate like a Scheelhaase. It's a lot of good right there if you're the Cleveland Browns.
I think that what makes him so appealing, too, is the idea that, okay, like, keeping Jim Schwartz is one of the things that I have, like, painted across. Like, it's stopping me from hiring my head coach if it's not Schwartz. Not necessarily, but, like, I almost view the two, like, very similarly to each other. Like, it's really important to find the right head coach. It's also really important to keep the defense with the success they're having in place.
But it's not just there's not a lot of guys that run the wide 9.
Right.
And JP's kind of scoffed at this when I brought this up. The one thing the Browns have done really, really well is identify talent that goes to this system.
Exactly.
And there are guys who play in this 4-down set in the wide 9 that would not be guys that play down in other similar 4-man sets. That poses some stylistic issues that will prolong a rebuild. I just wanted to add that there.
Yeah, like I don't think that you go to a different formation and completely ruins it. But like I look at those two things. He's very similar of keeping Schwartz and getting the new head coach, right? Like you're kind of sweet spot is being able to nail both at the exact same time. The fact that McDermott's on the table makes it really interesting, comboed with the fact of, okay, I think a lot of people looked around when Stefanski got fired and said, we need a leader of men. Like that's something where like I know, I sit here and I go, okay, well, like my top candidate is like a Grant Udinski or a Scheelhaase. Like I love the young offensive mind. That's something where, are they going to be able to do that? I don't know. Like there's question marks about it for sure. Like we have no answer.
These like guys who have no definitive way of gauging what they've done and what kind of success they're actually a part of.
Well, the beautiful part is that you don't have any way to detract against that success
is this like
either,
This is the blankest of blankest canvases, and I like that you're pandering for it. I don't hate it. You're going hard in the paint one way or another, even if it's, in my opinion, the wrong way.
It's okay. You look at it and say, I have nothing to go off to say they have success. I have success that follows them, and go, you have nothing to tell me that they have no part of that success.
We
get to play
that's
the
just a nana boo boo, right?
Nana boo boo.
You whatever.
You said that like wow. It's a sophisticated term. You do understand that is a nana boo boo.
You say that they have no success that I can point to. I say there's no success that I cannot point to. What kind of shell game are you playing at, Volnick?
What are you like? So what is it? I want to know right now. Now that we've now derailed this from McDermott. What is it that you look at and say Udinsky? Because I've pointed to you the fact that he's had success rebuilding Sam Darnold as an assistant quarterback coach. Had success rebuilding Trevor Lawrence.
Real quick, who gets the bulk of the credit for rebuilding? Is it Grant Udinsky, Josh McCown, their offensive coordinator, or Kevin O'Connell?
Okay, that's fair.
He was fourth in line with Sam Darnold.
Okay, now it's Trevor Lawrence.
At some point, he's like the Secretary of State in this. Okay, if we're impeaching multiple people, he's going to be like the fourth guy on the call list for the new president.
Okay, and then I go to Trevor Lawrence, where you have another quarterback turnaround, and now he's second.
He did not turn around. He is just as crappy as he was 3 weeks ago.
He was 3 weeks ago. How about we go back to
last year? Yeah, no, he's not a good quarterback. He's not. They won a bunch of games.
If there was a most improved player of the year award, Trevor Lawrence would probably win that award.
Yes, because that's a narrative award, and they won 13 games. Trevor Lawrence is still as mystifyingly of a quarterback as you could have in the NFL.
I thought Trevor Lawrence looked really good this year. I thought he looked miles better.
I'm shocked that a guy won 13 games and everybody thinks he looks better.
So what is you say he doesn't look as good. The numbers would tell you he looks as good. The underlying stats would put him above the middle of the pack.
You ready for this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I watched the tape.
Oh, yeah, because I didn't watch any Jacksonville games to look at it.
He's still not a franchise quarterback, which is the point. Like, he's played this well before. He just happens to, if you compare this Trevor Lawrence to last year, it's better. Well, of course, they were a bad team last year. He was hurt, and he didn't play well. But, like, this is like the approximation of as good as it gets with Trevor Lawrence, which he's already established previously in Jacksonville. He has been this good before.
He's had better years than he did last year. Like, the first, 2 years then? I'm trying to do the math in my head of when he came into the league. The first 2 years.
Let's not get out. But here's the point. Liam Cohen is the guy that apparently is in charge of almost everything with the offense. So, yes, Grant Udinski has more power in Jacksonville than he does in Minnesota. This would be the equivalent of being like AVP should have been the head coach somewhere. Like, he doesn't call the plays. There's just not enough success. When I say success, I mean his individual success. I can point to this. And I know because every time somebody talks about him, he's a different thinker. They can't point to something substantiative. I don't know what the word is, but you know.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah. Okay, but then I hear Trevor Lawrence talk, and he talks about how speeding up his progressions, getting to learn the offense very quickly, he puts heavily on Udinsky's shoulders. I also don't think it's necessarily realistic to look at it and say, okay, yes, Liam Cohen was in charge of the offense. He's the play caller. You also can't run an entire offense with one guy. Like, he can't do the entire offense by himself. There's a reason there's, 15 members of staff at highly ranking positions that are then below him that have legitimate responsibilities.
Compared to a normal offensive coordinator. to what McVay did before he got hired in Washington, to what Kevin O'Connell did in either Washington or L.A. before he got hired in Minnesota. He has one season that's kind of close to either one of those guys. Those guys had multiple seasons. And I think you're just working with I think the Jacksonville thing's the only thing you can gauge him on, and it's such a small sample size. This is such a projection. And here's the thing, you don't need, I understand the swing for the fences mentality. Yeah, he's just as likely to be an absolute disaster as a head coach at 30 years old. He's been in the NFL 5 years. Scheelhaase is a bad idea too, guys. 2 years in the NFL. I think both guys can be something, but you're almost projecting their future success as assistants so that then they'll have success as head coaches. That's what's crazy to me. You're not just with, Jesse Minter. All right, he has time from Baltimore before he went to Michigan with Harbaugh and then after. So you can say he's got a lot of the I know the NFL and this is how it works and here's how long I've been there, plus the success as a defensive coordinator, right? You're not projecting his future success as an assistant, which then you would base off hiring him as a head coach. He's got so much success as an assistant. With Udinsky and Scheelhaase, it's 2 more years of this, and these guys are going to be everybody's cup of tea. Yeah, that's if it happens. You can't bank on it. You really can't. I think that's
I think it's fair.
There's a I don't want to say a lack of logic, but it's almost over-logicking of no, this will happen and this is how we should treat it. It's or they're 2 guys who might really be bright sparks in the future, but right now there's really no basis of hiring them as head coaches of one of 32 NFL teams.
But you go through, so if he has success for another 2 to 3 years, you'd say head coaching candidate, right?
Yeah, the if. Yeah, operative.
Of doing the exact same thing that he's doing right now, which is not calling the plays under Liam Cohen.
Yeah, but bigger sample size.
Yes.
4 years of
a job that you say is he's basically doing nothing under, and Liam Cohen runs the entire offense.
He's not doing what Joe Brady's doing in Buffalo.
Yeah,
he's not doing what Clint Kubiak's doing. That is an important distinction.
Yeah, no, I 100 those guys are calling plays. They have defensive-minded head coaches that are they're more in charge of the offense. They're closer to the head coach of the offense than they are the backup man in charge. There's also reports that Udinsky had a 3-hour max allotted interview. If you just walk in there and talk to the guy and he has everything you want, why am I going to worry about whether or not you can project out as a coordinator?
Are you hiring a guy because of what he's done and what he can do, or are you hiring a guy because he's a good interview?
I'm not hiring a guy because he's a good interview. I'm hiring a guy because I want him to be great 15 years down the line for me for 15 years, not the guy that's going to be great for me necessarily this upcoming season, because
it's the NFL. I know there are very few finished products. Nobody's ready to be a head coach. That's a cliche that's thrown out there. Yeah, but there are guys who are less ready to be a head coach. We got to acknowledge that.